Well, I'm getting ready to head over to the courthouse. I'm wiping down my cars, and there's a tree trimming service that's been here for a couple of days trying to do stuff, and they're like, do you know how to get into the neighbors? I'm like, I use a sheriff. Yeah, so he's like, I guess she yelled at him or whatever for trying to come through the gate, but he left a card letting her know that he needs to get in there. They're the utility company. So anyway, so I'm out there wiping my car, and then out comes Misty, and she's loading up stuff into the Jeep. So I said, good morning. Good morning, Misty. And she didn't say anything, of course, but yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm heading over to the courthouse now. There she goes. Yeah, the gentleman. Oh, that was too funny. It really was. And then all of a sudden he sees her, and I'm like, yeah, go get her. Yeah, there you see him running to her. And I'm just wiping off my car. Okay, I just got to the courthouse. I'm hoping I get something accomplished while I'm here, you know. Yeah, at least hopefully file that memorandum of costs. I don't know. Maybe I'll even see the sheriff. Okay, so yeah, I'm back out of the courthouse. I managed to, I guess, get some light shed, do some paperwork. I did get the memorandum of costs filled out, the additional costs, and then I inquired about getting my court fees waived because, you know, I'm spending more money than what the judge awarded me at this point, and well, she gets her fees waived. Yeah, you know, I'm on Social Security, so I should get my fees waived is what the clerk was telling me, so I'm going to fill out that paperwork when I come back here to court on the 18th. And I also spoke with the mediator because I saw her standing there to let her know that, you know, I'm coming in there on the 18th, and I would like to, if possible, have the judge be able to oversee what takes place, or at least have everything under oath. And so she called the court advisor, who, you know, always butts heads with me because he just doesn't like the way I think, I guess. He always tells me it's my opinion. But anyway, he was telling me that, you know, I can ask the judge, but that doesn't mean she's going to say yes. So we'll see what happens there. And then I went over to the sheriff, and the sheriff told me that when I saw, or the clerk at the sheriff's office told me that when I saw the sheriff on the 29th with Misty in the back there, back when my neighbor was doing screaming and banging, that she couldn't be located. And she was there, okay, on the front lawn, maybe in the back lawn at that point, but oh, yeah, so they're still going to attempt to serve her, but she hasn't been served as of yet for that official invite, you know, the subpoena, to be a witness. But she's definitely still denying being a resident there, even though, of course, this morning when I saw her, she had soaking wet hair. Like, you know, just out of the shower, soaking wet hair. Yeah. My neighbor and her tenants, friends, whatever, they're definitely, I guess, good at playing dodge the sheriff. And of course, yeah, I gotta make one last pit stop to the post office before I head to work. Because, you know, I'm required by law to mail any information that, you know, the defendant, I guess, is entitled to, including that memorandum of costs, even though she's not required by law to open it up. Yeah, she's not required by law to open up any of the required mail that I'm required to send her. She's not required by law to tell the truth to the sheriff about the tenants. She's not required by law to do anything. She can, you know, destroy my property, commit perjury, do whatever. And me as the neighbor, the person that's the plaintiff, the victim of her actions, I'm required by law to do everything by the book. Yeah, I do. I think it probably should have just you know, let loose. But nope, I'm not going to do it. Not going to go there. There's the sheriff again. I just wish the sheriff would arrive when they're there, you know. Yeah, look at the use of those arms. Look at the use of those legs. Clearly does not require a wheelchair. Okay, I just got off the phone with the sheriff, you know, because, you know, I had got that notice of unsuccessful attempt to service again regarding Misty, Derek, and Rick, and they're claiming they're not tenants, but, you know, my lawyer let me know that they're still technically witnesses, and so, yeah, I can call them in and subpoena them into being a witness at the debtor hearing, and then, especially since they are at that address, but, you know, I saw the sheriff just before Halloween make the attempt, and I also saw that Misty was over there, but was not in view of the sheriff intentionally. And so the sheriff left. And, you know, technically I was thinking maybe I should just go over there and point to where she was standing so the sheriff would see. But, you know, I didn't want to, I guess, prevent the sheriff from finding her on his own. And I didn't know if it was allowed actually for me to go point. But just spoke with the clerk. She goes, if you see her standing there or hiding anywhere and you see the sheriff trying to do it, feel free to assist the sheriff. Just say, pardon me, but, you know, and point. So I guess I'll do that. But I just know at this point in time, yeah, it is the 5th. We go to court on the 18th. So I got a few days left before it's considered an unsuccessful attempt or a few more visits. But yeah, I definitely want her to be a witness because she went out of her way to tell me on YouTube, you know, about how she thinks I'm a bad person for, you know, trying to collect that money that the judge, 3 judges, stated my neighbor owes me because she's such a sweet little old lady. She's had such a rough life. Like I said, I don't care that she wants to be your friend. But, yeah, I think if she wants to be her friend, she should definitely be there and support her friend at that debtor's hearing. And so I sent the official invite via subpoena, and apparently she hasn't been served. And so I'm hoping even if she doesn't get served, she still shows up at that hearing anyway as her friend for moral support. Okay, I just came to the courthouse website just to see if everything's been recorded. And yeah, 11/4, that was yesterday. It shows that I filed that declaration of more cost. So at this point in time, the principal is $2,140.80. And it shows that, you know, the credit for $620 that I managed to seize and interest remaining. I need to change that part, but that's okay for now. So, you know, but at this point, I have spent $1,111 trying to collect the money that my neighbor owes me. It's getting right up there with what the judge awarded. And yeah. And no matter what, yeah, I got a lien on my house. Okay, so I don't have to pay for that again. But and if she ever sells the house, yeah. But every time it cost me money to do the bank levy, it also cost her money to have the bank levy done. Every time it costs me to do a third-party levy, that comes off of my pocket. And whenever I do the debtor hearing, again, that comes off of my pocket. So the clerk did state that if I want to fill out a form to waive some of those court fees, I could do it. But, you know, whatever I guess, end up collecting via the bank levies and third-party levies or what have you, that those fees would be deducted from the money I get. So I don't know if it's really worth it to try and get my fees waived. But every time I do have to pay and those fees, yeah, it comes out of my pocket first, but it gets billed to her later. So I really think that this would be to her advantage to consider doing monthly payments. Whatever. She can send it, obviously. She's got employees. If she can pay them, she can pay me. If she can afford to have to keep paying out the $30 that the bank charges her to seize her checking account, or shut it down, freeze it, whatever, she could apply that towards me. But she refuses to make those monthly payments, refuses to do anything towards ending this argument, towards getting out of the courthouse with me. It's not my imagination. All she has to do is agree to make monthly payments. All right, there it was. Yeah, bright and early this morning, 6:49 a.m. And note, they're going to even pull into my driveway to whip a Yui. Good morning. November 6th. Trash is being picked up, and I just got off the phone with the sheriff again because, I've now had 3 unsuccessful attempts at people being served next door. Defendant number 2, defendant number 1 has no idea where defendant number 2 has gone. The kid that destroyed the lights on her behalf has no idea how to get in touch with him. The tenants that are not tenants, can't be served that bank levy because they're not tenants. But I just got off the phone with the sheriff to find out, whether or not the official invite to Misty, who's not a tenant, who went out of her way to let me know she thinks that this is a sweet little old lady who I shouldn't be trying to legally collect the money from. And that, I'm just a washed up stripper who gives crappy haircuts. That still makes me chuckle. But anyway, she got the official invite this morning. The sheriff confirmed. And so, yay. I guess she'll be there to give that sweet little old lady some support. Or at least explain why she feels. Yep, there it is, definitely. You've been served. That official invite. So yeah, now I know that if nothing else, my neighbor, the sweet little old lady, will have somebody to be there with her at that debtor's hearing. And maybe Misty will see that I have a legal right to try and collect that money from my neighbor. Okay, and now I guess Derek's there, so I don't know if he's been told yet that Misty got that subpoena this morning. Or actually, I think he is aware because, he pulled away right behind the sheriff. Okay, yeah, it's the end of the night. I'm currently actually uploading the video of my inviting Misty to that debtor's hearing that takes place on 11/18/2019. And, well, I really am hoping now that she has received that invite this morning that she accepts, because it doesn't require an RSVP, but it does require her to attend. And she did reach out to me, and so I'm hoping that means she wants to be there because she went out of her way to let me know how she feels about this whole situation with my next door neighbor, the sweet little old lady who apparently is being harassed by me, the cracked out ex-stripper who gives lousy haircuts, crappy haircuts, whatever it was she said. It wasn't very nice, okay? I'm still under the impression here that Misty is probably a nice person deep down. Because, you know, from what I've seen, she appears to be a hardworking female, right? You know, I mean, she's been over there for a few months now, and even though she's denied being a tenant, it's pretty evident that she's probably bartering, you know, by doing all the cleaning and whatever for my neighbor in lieu of living there. And, you know, that's fine. You know, a lot of people have that arrangement. I don't care what the arrangement is. I just want to know that if she's paying rent to my neighbor, that they know that they need to give it to me. But in the meantime, I've been putting up with a lot of crap from Misty, Derek, the kid that she hired to destroy the lighting. You know, Misty was there when my backyard decoration got torn apart and I had to call the police. I'm under the impression that Misty, especially after leaving me that message on YouTube, doesn't really have the full dynamics of what is transpiring or what has transpired between my neighbor and I. She must really feel that she's a victim in some form. But my neighbor is no victim, clearly. She could have ended this a year ago when the last judge told her she owes me money. She could have just said, okay, you know, and start making monthly payments. But she did not. She is doing whatever she can to keep me in that court system. And, you know, she's racking up her costs in the process. But I did the math because my goal is to, at this next hearing that takes place, that Misty should appear at and at least be there for moral support. But I do plan on asking her some questions. Yes, I do. But in particular, why she feels she has a right to harass me because her friend, her landlord, whatever, the person she's helping out in lieu of having a place to live, why she feels that she has a right to harass me because her friend owes me money. I mean, really, truly. I am the plaintiff. I have every legal right to try and collect that money via the sheriff, via the bank seizures, via the third-party levy, via the lien on the house. And my neighbor doesn't have to have any of that transpire if she just makes monthly payments. So, yes, I did the math. And at this point in time, at the hearing, if she's willing to start making those monthly payments, I will accept 12 payments of $192 a month. That's for a whole year, okay? And, or, you know, if that's just not, you know, something she's interested in doing, I'll take 6 payments of $384. That's a 6-month period, you know. Or 2 payments of $1,152. Or we can just, you know, pull the Band-Aid off of that wound and she can throw it all on her credit card. Or somebody else can put it on their credit card and that lien will be removed from her house. There will be no further need for a sheriff to come visit her house. There will be no further need for bank levies to take place. So, you know, like I said, I'm doing whatever I can to try and convince my neighbor to just go ahead and make monthly payments. I'm willing to accept those monthly payments. It's all on her and her friends who can perhaps convince her that it would be to her advantage to make monthly payments. Or go ahead and make the monthly payments for her. Whatever it takes. You know, I just know that I'm looking forward to getting out of this headache with my neighbor as soon as she's willing to say, okay, I'll go ahead and make those payments. But, you know, I can't force her to make the payments, but I can still do the bank seizure and the third-party levies and keep that lien on her house until she does the right thing.